with another edition of the All Beef No Filler podcast. I'm your host, Pascal Paul, Director of Scouting for Prep Baseball in Nebraska. Joined again by one of the top programs in the state, the head coach of the Millard South Patriots. He's, what does it say there, Coach? 351 and 129 on the overall record. Has a couple state championships under his belt. Was in the top 4 last year of all the programs. Welcome, Coach Greg Geary.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you, Coach. It's your program has been one of the better ones in the state. Lost a couple guys last year from last year's team that were big time contributors. Talk to us about the loss of them and an early season, who you're seeing as emerge as some leaders in your program.
Yeah, obviously, losing, a couple big arms, with Tyler Albert and Jacob Allstat and several of those senior guys that were big contributors for us on the mound. We have a kind of a big hole to fill there. Losing Noah Carroll this year, he graduated semester. Just couldn't quite get the arm back to where he wanted it. Decided to graduate early, and I know he's focusing on I know he wants to be a pilot, does a lot of flying, some things like that. So that's another one that we'll have to replace as well. Will Thomas, out in center field, was a huge leadoff spot for us, stole a bunch of bags. And so, he'll be another tough one to replace out there. But I'll tell you what, we got a great group of seniors this year, some really great leaders, across the board. I mean, you got, obviously Carson Durr behind the plate, been a starter for us since a freshman. That's a huge position for us. And then, you got across the infield, you'll have Caden Pennings, at first base. You got Logan Wick, Jackson Apin. Those guys have been playing together for a long time. And in the outfield, obviously you got seniors. You got Brady Parrish coming back, who had a great year for us last year. Really was a huge piece for us. And then obviously you got juniors. You got, Braden Swaney's back and Blake McAndrews is back. And then obviously you got guys like Owen Quakenbush that'll fill in those spots, and some other juniors that we're excited for that, have put in a ton of work in the weight room this offseason. And I'm really excited to see what some of these guys can do.
You went down a long list of guys, that are going to be headed towards college baseball. And, you mentioned some guys that are graduating that are playing college baseball currently. Your program has been at the top, I would say, or one of the top programs of sending guys on to the next level. How do you balance the individual development while also being as one of the best programs that overall wins games every year?
I just think that honestly, it starts with the kids. I mean, any coach will tell you that, if you don't have some dudes in your lineup, it's tough to win games. So it starts with them, their character. Their parents have raised them right. We've got great parents in our program that support, the kids. They support the coaches. They let us do our job. And they just put the work in, and I think that, aside from them, I think it's also, we've got a lot of great assistant coaches, our lower levels. A lot of the guys that have been with me for a long time, they teach them at right from the get-go, the reserve and JV level, the style of play that we want to play at, and they teach that to them at a very young age. And so that when they get to us, they know what the expectations are, how we expect them to play. Because in our mind, there's a right way to play this game, and they do a great job at our reserve and our JV level of getting them prepared. And then when they get to us, obviously the guys I've got on our varsity staff are phenomenal. They do a great job of each guy kind of knows their role. They've got their positions they work with, and just a great job with our kids and getting them prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, Coach, I would say your program, not that others aren't, but when I go and watch your teams play, I for sure see a distinct style of play. It's aggressive. It's in your face. You definitely want to take advantage of a lot of other teams and what they're not taking advantage of, which I really appreciate. When you talk about Nebraska baseball as a whole, what kind of excites you with where the game is going? You've been at it 15 years now as a head coach. What evolves that you've seen that you are getting excited about with the game in Nebraska?
I just think there's so many, when I started 28 years ago coaching here, you didn't have all the facilities that there are now for these kids to train at. You know, there's all sorts of places now where the kids, when they leave us during the school day, most of them are going off and they're training at different facilities, and there's so many more options for them to train at, to go get extra swings. They, you know, they throw, they do so much more outside of just, you know, the 8 to 3:30 time that we're here at Millard South. And so I think that has really evolved the game, and just so many more opportunities for them to get better. And there's a lot of great places that these kids go to, and across, you know, across town, and in different locations. And I think that's played a huge part in the development of the skill of these kids, and how good they are even by the time they get to high school. Some of these kids, they start playing when they're 7, 8 years old in select ball, and they're, you know, it's crazy how good some of these kids are at such a young age.
It is wild. I've been doing the scouting side of it. I was at Iowa Western for a while, but even in my time in Nebraska, the talent level has gotten better and better each year, significantly, noticeably. And that's a testament to, like you said, they're not just getting that skill development from 8 to 3. They're getting it before school, after school, at night, virtually almost whenever they want with some of these facilities. With one of the big hot topic issues, and we deal with it a lot, is, recruiting. You're on the forefront of dealing with these guys and helping them, get to places. What advice or what do you see from your better players that handle the recruiting process? What do they do consistently that helps them potentially get recruited? Whether it's Division 2, NAI, Division 1, what are they doing to kind of help them in their process?
I think the big thing is communication, you know, them reaching out to the coaches, them communicating with us. You know, we sit down with them and talk about different schools, you know, everything from, it's not just baseball, but it's also academically, financially, you know, what's a good fit for that particular player. And then from there, you know, between them and between us as a coaching staff, you know, obviously having been here a long time, I've gotten to know a lot of the coaches, you know, especially in this area. And so just reaching out to them and just saying, hey, we've got this kid here that I think might be a good fit. And then from there, it usually goes to, you know, getting them in connection with that coach, having those conversations, and just getting we have a lot of conversations with our kids about how do you even simple things like, how do you talk to a coach? How do you communicate when a coach reaches out? You know, even if you think you may not end up going to that particular school, being respectful and you know, appreciative of the fact that they are recruiting you. Just those little things, I think, you know, play a huge part in the process, because you never know. You may start at a particular school in today's era, and you may end up at you may end up needing that coach down the line. So just keeping the communication open, and, like I said, being respectful to that coach, and understanding that you may never know. You know, you may start one place and end up at another, two or three more schools nowadays. So who knows? But just, I think, them being able to communicate and be an advocate for themselves is huge, and taking those first steps, and kind of us working collaborative, you know, as a group, you know, between the coaching staff and the player and the family as well. We meet with the every player and their parents at the end of the summer, and kind of try to get on the same page as far as what schools we think might be a good fit financially and academically, and then obviously the baseball side of things.
There's definitely a lot more that goes into the whole process than just the baseball side of things. I think obviously the kids sometimes get caught up in the
Mhm.
baseball side, but there's a social aspect, there's a financial aspect, there's a an academic aspect, and not every baseball program, no matter how good they might not be a fit for you individually and how you play and what you do successfully. So, I agree, Coach. Communication, it was one of my biggest
Yep.
things when I was coming up. Being able to draft a simple email that was professional and had the right stuff in it. So,
Mhm.
kudos to you guys. You guys do a great job. Your kids continue to go to really high level places, and that's a testament to you and your staff.
Appreciate that.
Now, coach, backing up a little bit, you've been doing it, you said 28 years, 15 as a head coach. If you could go back to that first year of coaching, what would you say to yourself? What kind of advice would you give? And then how is your coaching philosophy changed in those 28 years as a coach overall and then the 15 as a head coach?
It's a tough question. Well, I used to have hair on the top of my head, so that tells you a little bit about the coaching lifestyle. But I think, honestly, I think I would tell a young coach today, um, to create balance in your life. I think that was for me, especially when I started as a young coach, I took everything personally. I take it home with me, every loss. I think you need to realize that there needs to be a good balance between leaving the baseball at the baseball field and as soon as you pull in the garage when you get home, to leave it there before you walk in the doors because that can be tough. It's hard on your family at home. Obviously, I've had my wife was um, a collegiate athlete, so she understands the commitments that it takes to play at a high level. And so, fortunately, she's been very patient with me over the 28 years that we've been married. But with your kids and things like that, the time away from them that it takes to be a coach. But just to try to find balance, and that's the one thing if I would go back 28 years, I would um, just really just appreciate the fact that you get to do this for a living and you coach and just to embrace not the wins and losses so much, but just the time that you get spend with the athletes, with your coaching staff, and just embrace that part of it. And don't get too hung up on wins and losses and state championships and things like that. Those things are great. And as a coach, we're always going to want to compete and we all want to win a state championship. But at the same time, just keeping things in perspective and understanding that keep the baseball on the baseball field. And when you leave there, when you get home, enjoy your family, enjoy everything about it. Because it comes and goes fast. I can't believe it's been 28 years since I first started here. But it does go by fast. So enjoy it.
That's great advice, coach. I think that's something that every young coach, I know myself, struggled with bringing that the loss or a pitcher had a bad outing or whatever the case may be, bringing that home with you is difficult because there needs to be a separation between that work and family life, and it goes by super fast, and you never know when it might be your last time. So, thanks.
Myrna,
I hope
IO,
all you young coaches out there better
report to
take
the
that and write that
office.
down. That is
Myrna,
A plus advice
IO,
from one of the best
please
in the state.
report to the office.
Yep.
Shifting gears a little bit, coach, 2026 season. What are the team's goals and what are you kind of looking forward to with this group of guys?
Well, this is a tremendous group of guys. I'll tell you what, I've been so impressed with their work ethic since we started in the fall. It's led by, like I said, a great group of seniors this year that have been around our program for 4 years that understand kind of how we want to do things and understand the character it takes to play at a championship level. And then watching them kind of pass that down to the younger kids has been great to watch. We're excited for this year. Obviously, I think we're going to have some new guys kind of step up on the mound for us to be successful, and I think we've got the pieces to do that. I really like where we're at, defensively and offensively. Got a lot of guys coming back with a lot of experience, which is huge. But just we all know pitching's a huge part of this game, and so being able to throw strikes and fill up the zone and let your defense work behind you, if we can do that, we're really excited for this group. Like I said, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of these guys this year because groups like this don't come around all that often. And so just enjoy watching them compete, go out and practice every day and watch what they do. Just going to enjoy it. I know our coaching staff is excited and we're pumped to get it going in a month or so here.
Definitely. Hopefully this weather gets out of there. We could use some sunshine and some 50 to 60-degree weather for that baseball.
Yeah,
Coach,
no doubt.
we're excited to watch you. You're always one of the top programs. I think everybody knows that they got to bring your best to play the Millard South Patriots. And this year, I think you got a lot of talent to go along with that. Not that you don't in years past, but I really like the guys on your team. And like I said, us at Prep Baseball are really excited for the Millard South team in 2026.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, no problem, coach. The last question I want is there anybody, recruiting wise that's a little bit light that's having a good off season that you'd maybe like to get some extra pub and make sure that we know about and everybody else knows about that they're out there and there's somebody that needs to be watched.
We've got a lot of our seniors are kind of locked in, the ones that want to go on and play. We got a
Hmm.
couple guys. Owen Quakenbush is a kid that he's applied at all the military academy schools, and so he's kind of waiting to hear back on that. But he's a kid that we're really looking forward to him both on the mound and playing a little bit in the outfield for us as well. He's a kid I think um, is gonna do really well for us. Got another guy, Joe Bluvis, who's a pitcher for us that is another senior that's kind of looking to join. Went up to Briarcliff a few weeks ago, so that may be in the works up there. But all of our seniors are all kind of committed right now and locked in and ready to go. The ones, like I said, the ones that want to go on and play. And obviously, McAndrews is committed to UNO, and Swaney's committed to Kansas State. Top couple of juniors there. We got some up and coming juniors that we're really excited about. Um, that are going to get some good opportunity this spring with, Preston Barber, Zach McZorrick in the outfield, Eli Goldsberry, Urban Kennedy, who was a linebacker on our state championship team. He'll be kind of helping Durr out behind the plate and playing a little bit of first base, and some good young kids coming up. Got a good sophomore pitcher, Charlie Harding, that we're excited to watch, see what he can do on the mound. Big kid. So yeah, there's some good young talent coming up. Jackson Corey's, he'll kind of be. He came in as a sophomore last year as a pitcher for us and pitched a ton of big innings for us. So he'll be one of our top two arms to start off the year. So he's a kid that is going to be start to get highly recruited here. I think he's a kid that really came on last year and pitched in some big games. Started a game in the state tournament for us and got a big win. And we're really excited for him. He's really put on some good weight this off season, and excited to see what he can do this spring as well. So I don't know, a lot of unknowns out there, but a lot of guys that we know, we've seen what they can do. So got Gavin Christensen, another infield kid that's gonna be able to fill in some. He can really play any of those spots on the infield. So really excited to see what some of these young kids can do when they get an opportunity.
Well, Coach, you weren't lying about Jackson Corey. He pitched a gem of a game in the state tournament. I was there for it, and he absolutely was a bulldog out there on the mound. Really impressive stuff from him. I tell
Yep.
everybody that asks, you're a program that they need to see, because there's always guys that either I miss on, or they're, like you said, they're multi-sport athletes, or for whatever reason, you kind of waited to come to some of our events. So it's definitely a program that I tell everybody there's a guy or two on there that I probably have missed on, and are a little bit short on. Kudos to you guys, and all the development that you guys do on and off the field. Couldn't appreciate you more coming on our podcast. Great to have you on. Good luck in the 2026 season. We're excited to see you guys go.
Well, again, I appreciate you having me on. It's been fun talking baseball with you.
Us too, Coach. Thanks for joining us from another edition of the All Beef No Filler podcast. I'm your host, Pascal Paul. We'll see you next time.